Support your locals, starting with Space Smoke Shop, located on 125 East Pennington Street, Tucson, Arizona. Space Smoke Shop. Local glass, cheap tobacco, any drink you can think of. We're also a hookah lounge and a venue. Like us on Facebook to keep up with shows, deals, and new products.
And Punk Rock Tuesday. Every second and fourth Tuesday. It's Punk Rock Tuesday. Woo!
Be sure to tell them you heard about it on the GMR Podcast. See you soon. GMR 41.
41.
You may be wondering what the purpose of this podcast is. Well, before we get into that, I'm Marty Catola.
And so am I. Oh, wait a minute.
And R is, well, just slightly out of view of camera. You know how that goes. Don't let this be the podcast that everybody forgot. Please don't let this be the podcast that everybody forgot.
How's that?
Because when we do 2 in a row...
Oh, we got to space them.
Because tomorrow there's another podcast coming out. People tend to forget about that previous podcast. So I think if this show primary topic is discussing all the things that made some of our other shows extremely popular, maybe the numbers on this one will go up just based on what we were talking about.
Yeah, you got any notes?
Well, we can pull it up here as we're doing the episode.
We just watched the latest Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. Another classic. And I think Sunny Discussion might have been one of the things that made the show very popular.
ComiCon.
Now, you could count that one, but that was the first one that went up on Buzzsprout, and I think that's why that particular one has a lot of views. But let's see here. Comic-Con. That first show we did at Comic-Con. People loved that one. So 2 weeks until Tucson Comic-Con.
That's crazy.
And that means 9 months until the Phoenix one, something like that.
And then Big Brother. And it all starts again.
And exactly. Big Brother was one of the things that, for some reason, got the hits.
Yeah, I'm getting like Big Brother withdrawals at this point, or it just seems wrong.
Quarantine.
Going to quarantine. Hopefully, I've stashed enough whiskey in the bleach bottles.
Yeah. Oh, Steve-O's cooking podcast. I think people think it's Steve-O from Jackass, and they think he's doing a cooking podcast. They tune in only to discover that it was about the time Steve-O made his dinner in the kitchen.
Still a popular episode.
It's a very popular episode. That was also the show we sent our first ever tweet during.
Wow.
Way back on April 19th, 2013. Let's see what else was popular. The night we discussed drinking the Uber Monster.
Ooh.
As well as caffeine levels in soft drinks. We touched on that briefly last week with the whole RC Cola thing.
Do you think that's how people choose the shows? They just look through. How do you choose your podcasts?
Well, I look up and see what's happening on
the subject is.
Mm-hmm. Do they have a good guest or?
That's always
Uber Monster, the beverage that we have yet to actually drink,
might be off the market at this point. I haven't seen one. Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've seen them. They're still out there. I think it's still $5 a bottle.
No. It's not that bad. Someday we're going to have to get one. We could split one.
Yep.
And it wouldn't be an Uber Monster, though.
Also, Phoenix Comic-Con. Yeah, I said that already. People liked when we talked about vinyl.
Vinyl. So how many followers are we up to this week? I've been going door to door making people
Followers
sign up.
on Twitter?
No, not our Twitter. I know we got thousands of
We
people
have
follow us on Twitter at this time.
49 followers of the GMR Podcast.
Nice. So Big Brother Canada, what's going on? It's over, huh? What about the All-Star Big Brother?
I think Australia is still going.
Yeah. Why, we could understand what they're saying. We should tune in every now and then. Get the live feed. See people we have no idea who they are or what the fuck the rules are or what's going on.
But how many followers? How many views?
Yeah, okay. Views.
Or listens, I guess you should say. Well, we had one more than usual for the 40th one.
Ooh, maybe that going door to door pays off.
Yeah, somebody checked it out. Meanwhile, on YouTube, people continue to watch those early episodes. The first one's up to 63 views at this point. But as far as the more recent ones on YouTube, they usually have to sit around for about a month before they start getting views there. But like we discussed once before, I think, that's for the one guy who's listening to the show through YouTube, and you don't want to turn that off.
Well, pretty soon we're going to have our own YouTube channel. Plus that Kickstarter, that's going to be happening soon.
Yeah.
More details to come on that.
Yeah, as they become available. But yeah, the 2 podcasts in a row, people, so don't just stop at this one and not download tomorrow's, but that doesn't seem to be the problem. People go for that most recent one and tend to forget about the other one.
You might have to space them then. I don't know how long.
Well, that's also a problem. If I put a show up in a few days late, it tends to not get as many hits also. And then the next one pops up and people skip that one. So it's kind of a dilemma, but I'm hoping that by putting the trending topics in there, maybe it'll become a hit on its own. Show 41, GMR.
So I went to the Tucson Mall the other day, hanging out with TC. Went to the Burger King. It's a horrible, horrible experience going to the mall. It's just not right. Do you go to the mall, Marty?
I haven't been to Tucson Mall in ages, and I really haven't been to the other ones in a long time either.
They got these these little go-karts for kids, or they're like horses and animals. They're just like these animal shapes over this little motorized fucking go-kart sort of thing. But, it's got handles like on the ears. Looks really cool. If you were 7.
Wow, we had to walk.
That would have been badass, yeah. And they're just zipping around the mall. It's like crazy. And they have a comic book store there as well.
Really?
All these toys, a big, huge toy store right by the Sears. I think there used to be a toy store there.
Yeah, the KB.
And now it's like mostly action figures and shit, like some of it's real expensive shit. And comic books, which are real expensive. I just stopped looking at those once I realized that I used to own a lot of these, and now this is like $8.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm going to go to ComiCon and buy that comic for fucking 25 cents or $1.
Yeah. I don't pay the original prices.
Of course not.
65 cents.
It's mostly the bags and the boards that cost the money, though.
It's true.
It's like getting a soda at Circle K. It's not the soda that costs the money. It's the cup.
You're paying for that cup. Yeah.
You want a good soda? Well, get yourself your own cup. They won't let you do that, though, will they?
No.
You still have to pay for it, even if you bring your own cup, I would think.
Unless it's the cup that you bought there. Now, something else interesting is happening tomorrow. It's the 250th episode of The End of Television.
Wow.
Something that we hadn't really been counting down, George, because I hadn't been paying attention. Good thing I noticed, or we might have glazed right over it, just like we did the 11-year anniversary show last month. Didn't even mention that once. that type of thing happens sometimes. You
250.
get going.
That's a lot of
250,
episodes.
yeah. Amazing. And that'll be podcast 42. And why are we doing 2 in a row? Well, if this is the first one you've ever heard, you don't know the reason why, or you didn't listen to last week's and you skipped to this one, which is another dilemma.
We totally explained it last week.
We want 52 at the end of the year. For some reason, we didn't bother doing math. Took a month off and then said, oh, we'll do 3 shows at ComiCon and it'll all match itself up. But it almost did. So then the first show of 2014 will be show 53.
Or
So we only got about
season 2, episode 1.
Oh, yeah. As you say, this is all one giant season, a season a year. Sounds about right.
Or volume 2, episode 1. Or something.
No.
Most likely we'll just call it 53.
Yeah. Earlier you were saying something about getting the podcast to Ray's dad so he could hear it.
Yeah, Ray was saying that he would like a physical copy, preferably on vinyl, I believe, but that's going to take a while. And then Ray's dad could sit there and listen to a loop of our show. That was Ray's idea, and I was thinking it'd be cool to get another one of those, and then I could give it to the smoke shop guys, and then they could just jam our podcast one day, and I'd be walking down there, and I could just hear ourselves just ringing through the downtown area with all the lawyers and people walk down there.
GMR Wednesdays.
That's what I'm saying. Once they just loop that shit, play it for 12 hours that day.
That reminds me, when we go down to the studio tomorrow, we should have a promo for Access Tucson at the beginning of the show. I'm not sure what, just saying like go to the site and look at it or something, better than how I just said it right there, of course. But I think they might be into that. Ask them how they would feel about such a thing, and then look, we suddenly have another sponsor. So
that'd be awesome. Maybe there'll be some pie and coffee there as well.
Yeah, Harrigan After Hours.
Brought to you by
Harrigan
the After Hours. You give us enough pie. If we get our own pie and a quart of coffee, boom, you can be a sponsor, Dan. Because I know Dan listens to this.
We'll put a plug for Harrigan After Hours.
That's
We'll
right.
even do a Noche de Sonora commercial.
Okay. Why not?
You give us enough pie and coffee. It really depends on how much pie and coffee you're willing to part with.
What sort of pie?
That is a factor as well.
We can talk. We can haggle. Everything's on the table. Oh, so the government opened up again, apparently.
Yeah.
So now you can go to the national park. Because I know we had planned that trip, and it really was a pain in the ass.
So we'll be podcasting live from another national monument in a couple of weeks, the Tucson ComiCon. And you said you tried another You tried another ComiCon. You tried another podcast the other day with the portable MP3 recorder player device.
Yeah, that's gonna. TC's working on it. Maybe he can polish it up. It sounded pretty rough. Wow, I sound worse than I did last week when I had the cold. I don't know what's going on with my voice. Got a lot of phlegm.
The 2 weeks of the cold. Oh, and Flem couldn't be here this week.
But he might be there tomorrow.
He could be.
He just might be. Oh, I think I need a beverage or some shit.
Those are usually
I don't know what's going on with me. Woo! Ric Flair.
GMR.
Podcast. GMR Podcast.
It is GMR Podcast.
Woo!
And tomorrow will be another one of those live podcasts, so be sure to call in. And one of the least rated shows was the one where Wolfman called up and talked for a long time. So
I wonder why that is. Was that on the description? Wolfman?
Yeah, I think it's an extended discussion with Wolfman.
And people are like, "Oh, we don't want that." An extended discussion. I'll take a small discussion or a quick.
Yeah, we had enough of that shit as it is. Let's see. That one was way back on August 17th. Ray calls in briefly, and we have an extended chat with the Wolfman.
Maybe we should try and call Robert Gonzalez live from the studio. We can make long distance calls there, right?
Yeah, they can afford it.
Yeah. Well, sure they can.
Oh, the Wolfman one, it's actually increased. So, over time, it found its audience.
Well, there's a lot to catch up on.
Now, unfortunately, this one where you were talking about Big Brother and wrestling in the same conversation in the movie House, people haven't listened to that one enough. Go back and listen to Show 30, everybody. It was a solid episode. You need to listen to it.
Wow, that list is getting long and longer and longer.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the homepage just bam.
We get any tweets this week? Anybody got any questions?
At GMR Podcast. You can see where we tweeted out the Rob Zombie coffee last week.
Was there a picture with that?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then I also tweeted out this thing about the Charmin bears. You know those bears in the toilet paper commercials?
Yeah.
You know, because how the bears check out each other's butts in the commercial. And they're like, hey, your butt's cleaned. And somebody said, bears do not need to be fecally obsessed. Stop making cartoons about skid marks. So I thought that was kind of funny. If you want to read the rest of that story, at GMR Podcast. I don't even remember where I found that. And you can see all sorts of things that we tweeted out. McRae's podcast, even though there hasn't been a new one yet.
Not at all.
No. And I Googled McCranda the other night, and no new information. Or you could just watch the Bananas skit. You can get to that through our Twitter site.
Classic.
I was even thinking about making a cafe press site for the podcast where people could buy T-shirts and mugs for overinflated prices.
Nice. You might as well. So
Yeah.
Maybe we sell one or two, right?
Exactly. Make a quarter.
That's a quarter.
The more important thing is
getting that brand out there.
yeah, people walking down the street wearing GMR Podcast T-shirt.
That would be a cool T-shirt. And we have
Yeah,
a couple
we
of
got
different
the
designs.
designs already,
We have like
exactly.
3 or 4 of them. Have to kick Sarah back some money for that.
Yeah. Well, we'll just give her anything we make because it's not like, we're not in it for to make the money from the Vista print. But yeah, you can do all sorts of stuff. They just have all this blank merchandise sitting around, and you upload an image, and they go to town on it.
Cool. We need some more cards, business cards.
GMR hat.
They already have them. Look at that. We just...
Yeah, we do need to get some more business cards, actually. I got my GMR tote bag.
Sure.
Yeah, GMR mug.
Can we set up a thing through them so any orders we get, we can just be like, hey, give us one mug. Give us a T-shirt.
Well, we have to buy it like everybody else.
Oh, but do
It's
we have to buy it in bulk?
No, it's free to set up, and they manufacture by the order. I first used them about 10 years ago, did some Forbidden Zone merchandise, etc. I have an Into Television shirt that I made through Vistaprint. I think it might be the only one in existence. I don't even think those old sites are still in existence, as a matter of fact. Well, let me see here.
The Space Smoke Shop has their own print shop.
Makes sense, huh? Now that stuff's long gone, I think.
What, your old account?
Yeah, that's fine. Make a new one. Make a GMR one, and then you can get all sorts of GMR merchandise.
Make your own, bootleg our shit.
Yeah. What do we care? The podcast is free.
For you. Not for you, I meant for them.
That's true. We have to pay that podcasting fee. Somebody was asking me the other day, how do you do the podcast? And it's like, well, it is very simple. If you can record yourself and get that into your computer, you can find a site like Buzzcut, buzzsprout.com. Don't go to buzzcut.com. I don't know what that is. Buzzsprout.com, and pay them a little bit of money each month, and they'll host all your shit for you. Or there's other ways out there.
Yeah, so we got maybe a new podcast coming up. Be a little more energized than this one, maybe. I don't know what's going on with me today. I got like 4 hours sleep last night. I don't know why. Yeah, I was listening to podcasts half the night.
Yep, I was doing that.
And then I'm like, fuck, it's 4 in the morning. I better actually go to sleep. And then next thing I know, it's 9 in the morning and I'm awake. Maybe that's 5 hours. Yeah, if I do the math, I'm going to say 5 hours. Maybe 6. I don't know. Let's do. Anyway. Yeah, well, I wasn't like clicking didn't have a timer going. So I'm pretty burnt right now. And tomorrow I think I'm getting up early too, so can't be up listening to those podcasts all night. But how am I going to know what's going on before I go to bed?
Mm-hmm. GMR.
Podcasts. Yeah, I stopped writing notes months ago. I lost my notebook for a little while, so then I was just like, fuck it.
Maybe you can get a GMR notebook from
That'd be sweet. With a moleskin. Why not? And then we get our GMR fucking phone. What do you call it?
Oh yeah, like a phone case.
Yeah. Get a few of those.
GMR tablet.
Oh, I'm thinking we need our own fucking app. We could make an Android app for free.
Really?
But the iPod app, or the Apple app, so that's going to cost like $200 just to get on there. But free, so your Android device, and then we could have our podcast. Just fucking you just push that, and you're right there.
Right there on your phone.
Or your tablet. So there you go. We could probably get that going.
If it's
in
free,
the coming
why
year.
not? Yeah.
It's going to take a while. Everything takes a while. And we got ComiCons to go to.
That's true. We'll be podcasting directly from that in a couple of weeks. I can't stress it enough.
Oh, fuck. I'm fucking burnt. Yep.
GMR Burntcast. Well, we're almost there. We got a couple more minutes to go. Those popular topics.
Play a song. Come on. The popular topics. So, what other show was good this week? Comic Book Men.
Oh, yeah, that's back on now. And so is their podcast, The Secret Stash.
Yeah, I figured they would go hand in hand. How long is that show this year?
Half-hour episodes.
First year was an hour, right?
I think it was, yeah.
We think it was. We're not sure.
Pretty sure those first ones are longer. Seem to have a memory of those being longer.
They definitely got the formula down now. They're just like, that episode was just like bang, bang, bang.
Mm-hmm. In Big Bang Theory, another episode. That was another
classic
one.
Yeah.
Very short, 19 minutes.
What's going on with that?
How long until programs are 17 minutes?
So then they're normally 22 minutes, so they just shaved off 3 minutes. So that's just an extra round of commercials.
Pretty much.
Still 19 minutes. Come on. How long was the Always Sunny? Always Sunny.
That was about, 22, 21, something like that. But that Star Trek animated series, that was 24 minutes.
That was classic.
They barely had any commercials back then.
Spock goes back in time to his 7-year-old self. Teaches him how to kick ass.
Yeah, see, he's no stranger to going back in time and talking to himself.
Oh, classic episode. 1973. What? 30 years ago? 40 years ago? It's a long fucking time. And the animation, pretty half-assed. But the story was top-notch. Both episodes I've seen of Star Trek, the animated series. That's right. 1973.
The other one was that typical plot line of alien virus is taking over the ship. Let's trick it and abandon it in deep space, where it becomes lonely again. For some reason, we're supposed to have sympathy for this thing.
This alien thing that's existed for 100 million years, 300 million years. You think it wouldn't even have a sense of time, like, I guess you would want to maybe talk to somebody, but you'd probably be like on Gilligan's Island at that point. Fuck talking to him. I'm taking your fucking boat. I'm taking the boat. I'm taking whatever the fuck you got, asshole. What the fuck you doing on my island? Right? We've been here for fucking 10 years. Fuck you. Stop looking at my women. All right, got a little fired up right there, but
The similarities, it's amazing.
it's all just some ancient Roman or Greek myth or
Yeah, there's only like
Sumerian.
10 different plot lines you can have or something.
You just mix and match, and there you go. There's Star Wars.
Thanks for listening to that bonus podcast, or I should say this bonus podcast. Did I say that? Well, you've listened to it, so it is in the past tense. So maybe my sentences aren't as fucked up as I think they are sometimes. So anyways, GMR
Podcast.
41. Thanks for listening.
See you tomorrow. Woo!
GMR. 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 GMR.